My name is Arthur Joly.
Yeah.
I'm from Brazil, and I have one of the 3 companies in Brazil that make synthesizers.
Yeah.
Mine is called RecoSynth.
What is your favorite knob or fader or switch on a piece of gear that you've made, and why?
Oh, usually I use the Moog kind of knobs
Yeah.
because Moog and ARP are my favorite synthesizers. So I like to feel like I'm working on them. So usually I buy lots of Moogs and the Surge kind, you know, the little small one.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I like most.
Fantastic. And you have tattoos even. Fantastic.
ARP, Moog,
Yeah.
and RecoSynth.
So what bit of gear that you've made are you particularly proud of?
I think the most famous one is called the Mutuca.
Yeah.
It's a small synthesizer, like L-shaped with wood.
Yeah.
I think this is the one that people like most.
Yeah.
But the one I'm proud is one that I made for the Red Bull documentary.
Oh, yeah.
That it's a synthesizer that I put a vinyl late over the top, so I can make the synthesis and record a vinyl.
It had a name?
Yeah, that was called the Synth Groove Machine.
Synth Groove Machine. Excellent. How do you see the gear that you make in the landscape of music?
In Brazil, they are very important because we don't have almost nobody doing that.
Yeah.
So for the Brazilians, it's important that a guy like me can struggle with all the difficulties and create something. Because we don't have many good components, so we have to import a lot, and the taxes are 110% over the price.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for us to live doing this.
Yeah.
Since I'm a musician and producer, I can do it almost like a hobby and a passion.
Yeah.
So for the Brazilians, it is important to have a guy doing this.
Yeah. What music has inspired you to produce the gear that you make?
When I was a kid, my dad had a vinyl from Rick Wakeman.
Yeah.
And I think a trip to the center of the earth, something like that. And I listened to that, and that sound made me think, what kind of instrument does this sound? And I began to play guitar. I was a guitar player until my 23 years old.
Yeah.
Then I saw for the first time a Mini Moog Model D, and I understood what the filter.
Yeah.
So that created me a new passion, and that every year comes higher and higher, and I love so much.
What is the most surprising tip or trick or technique that you have discovered about your piece of gear?
Well, we call in Brazil, we have a word called gambiarra.
Yeah.
Gambiarra means like you can do things without the proper things. Like, well, how can I explain? Do you know a guy called MacGyver?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do everything we do like MacGyver style in Brazil.
Fantastic.
We don't have this knob, so we're going to take a pop can and shape it into a knob and create it.
Yeah.
So that's the way I do in my synthesizer. A lot of times I need to adapt the lack of good components.
Excellent. How did you get into making music gear?
I think in 2009, I began to go really deep into the synthesizer because I have discovered the eBay.
Yeah.
So I began to buy the eBay old stuff. By the time they weren't so expensive yet.
Yeah.
And I made a big collection of analog synthesizers.
Yeah.
And I could not find any modular by the time.
Yeah.
Because I could find like the Moog modular, but it was the price of my house.
Exactly.
So I discovered a website called Music from Outer Space.
Yeah.
From Ray Wilson.
Yeah.
And I began to buy his PCBs and became his friend. He was a very nice guy. And he helped me a lot. I own all my techniques and my passion to him because he was really patient and taught me how to love to build this things. So that's how I began, and how every time I can, I say in interviews and stuff, Ray Wilson is the guy that made my profession going.
How do you most often start on a new piece of gear? I mean, where do ideas come from?
I can give as example the Heco drum. Drum machine that I made most, and I used to have a TR-808. And when I began to cut vinyl, I'm a cutter engineer also. I work with the lathes. And when I was restoring my first Neumann lathe, I needed money to buy the cutter head.
Yeah, of course.
And I found one.
Yeah.
And I needed $2,000. So I need to sell my TR-808 that I loved so much. And when the head arrived, it was broken.
Oh, no.
So I lost my 808, and I need an 808, and I couldn't find it. So I went to the 808 schematics, the website, and began to try to create something like that to sound like that. And with the changes I had to make, I came with the Reco drum sound. And another friend of mine who works with digital stuff created a sequencer. So the Reco drum began because I lost my 808. So this is an example. But sometimes friends ask me, I would like to have a synth like with lots of noises because I work at cinema. I need to make like wave sounds and stuff. And I create the Magic Cinema box.
Fantastic.
I like to work like this.
How do you know when a piece of gear is finished, though? When you realize, okay, now it's done, I can send it out to the musicians.
This sometimes do not happen. So sometimes I keep doing the updates for a long time. With Mutuka on Reco drum, when I decide to, now I stopped, but when I decided to do batches, it's when I saw, this is a finished product. But nowadays, I like to create something new that even I didn't think before. Nowadays, I just finished to assemble a Surge modular LB design. So these last 6 months, my head like opened a lot for the modulars that I was not used to. Like the East Coast, the West Coast.
What is the best creative or production advice that you've ever been given or heard?
I work a lot as a producer, as a musical producer. And my style is to leave the artist doing like whatever he wants without no pressure. And then if you can shape it in a good way. But I think not to focus on the rules, because sometimes with the rule, you can break something very creative and special. So when I am at studio with friends or producing music or creating synthesizers, I let the things go wrong. And sometimes because of the wrong side, it will be nice.
Excellent. What was the Brazilian word for the MacGyver?
MacGyver is gambiarra.
Gambiarra.
Gambiarra. In Brazil, we love gambiarra.